Hi, my name is Kevin. I'm the Contractor CFO, and in today's video, we're going to go over new contractor business advice part two. So last week's video was new contractor business advice, and I just thought of more stuff that I wanted to share with you guys. So we're going over business advice part two. So who am I? In case you don't know who I am, I'm a contractor CFO and COO, and all that means is I help you make more money. So by working with me, my goal is to help you make more money than what I charge. So I should be a net asset to your business. We do that by looking at the typical accounting and tax stuff. We also look at some of the operational stuff, meaning like the processes you have, some HR type stuff, just anything else within the business that can help you make more money and become more efficient at it or more profitable. The core of the business I do is small business tax and accounting. That's how I got started in all of this. I'm an enrolled agent, meaning I can represent taxpayers before the IRS. It's kind of like CPA, but it's just a different exam that focuses just on the tax stuff. And then really, help small businesses lower taxes. That's really how I got into this. Was realizing how many business owners were just not set up correctly, or they're missing significant deductions they could have put into their business. So that's really, I really got into this with proactive tax planning for clients. So, and that's still a big part of what I do. And then also former insurance premium auditor. So if you're a contractor and you've ever had to deal with somebody showing up and asking for all these payroll reports and all that crap and certificates of insurance, that was me. So I know how to minimize all those costs and make it so it's just another part of your business that is not a headache or anything like that. All right, so a new contractor business advice. The first piece of advice is focus on revenue more than expenses. So more revenue covers a multitude of sins. So it's always, if you're bringing in enough money, and this kind of ties into some of the advice last week about pricing correctly and pricing higher, bidding higher, making sure that you're actually making money on every job. As long as you are focusing on bringing in revenue and it's at least covering the expenses of the job, that will cover over any other inefficiencies you have in the business, any other just overhead expenses, stuff like that. So always focus on growing your revenue and don't spend as much time minimizing the expenses. Part of the reason for that is, yeah, it ties into last week's, because there's a limit to how much you can reduce your expenses. All right, you're never going to get your expenses all the way down to zero. Like you're just not. Like you're always going to have expenses. However, you can increase your revenue almost. There's almost no limit in your mind as to how much revenue you can make. Yeah, that sounds stupid, but I mean, if you think about it, if you're bringing in $300,000 in revenue right now, it's possible to get to $500,000 of revenue because a lot of other people are at $500,000 of revenue versus your expenses might be $150,000, and that might be as low as you can get with your expenses. And even if you're increasing your revenue, maybe you got to bring in more people so your expenses actually go up, but maybe your margins also increase. Anyways, just focus on revenue. Focus on the core part of your business of generating revenue, going out, getting customers, pricing it high enough so you actually make money on the job, and over deliver and collect the cash, collect the payment like right then and there, and then rinse and repeat. That's what business is all about. It's a lot more simple than we make it a lot of times. Yeah, increasing revenue is almost limitless. This kind of ties in. Don't chase tax deductions. I can't tell you how many times I talk with clients, and there's certain clients that just become obsessed with, oh, can I write this off? Can I write this off? What other money can I spend? And in my mind, I'm like, dude, you shouldn't even be spending money. Like you want to keep money in your pocket, all right? So let's take a look at this. Tax deductions are mostly just expenses, right? A lot of times when we're thinking about a tax deduction or it's coming to the end of the year and you're freaking out because the tax bogeyman is coming after you, and you feel like, oh, I need more deductions. I need to reduce my income. Well, wait a minute. Why are you wanting to reduce your income? That means you're having to spend more money. That's more money coming out of your pocket, and you're never going to really, yeah, there's more deductions equal more expenses, but you really want to reduce your expenses in the business, right? Think about it. You're running a business. You want to keep as much money as you can. You want to spend as little as you can because you want to keep as much money as you can. But then all of a sudden, when you switch into like tax deduction mode, all of a sudden, like you just decide that you want to spend a ton of money. It's not a wise business decision to just spend money for the sake of getting a tax deduction. It never is. It never is. So what I'm saying is use your tax professional to maximize the deductions without you spending more money. All right? That's that's a core part of what we do as tax professionals. If we allow ourselves enough time and we structure the engagement correctly with our client, we'll have the time to do it. Our job is to make sure that we're maximizing your deductions. You focus on your business, the core aspect of your business, and making as much money as possible. And we'll figure out how to minimize the taxes on that. All right. You're going to be way further ahead if you do that than if you just spend all your time focusing on all these little tax deductions and trying to come up with complicated schemes. All right. Focus on tax planning early. All right. I can't tell you how important this is. If you're if you're just starting out, even if you feel like you're only going to net like 50 or 60 grand that first year, meet with a tax guy, meet with me, meet with some other tax person that knows what they're doing that's going to give you solid advice because we can tell you, hey, it's not a good idea to do this yet or even worry about it because you're just not making enough money for that to make sense yet. Then fantastic. Like you've just instead of you having to go on the internet and or watch all these Instagram videos and all that kind of stuff and trying to figure all this stuff out for yourself, you're saving your time and mental energy to just ask somebody, "Hey, I think I'm going to net about this year. Is there anything I should do or should I just keep trucking along and wait till tax time and we'll see what other deductions there might be?" Then you can spend all that extra mental energy actually building your business, right? I'll tell you straight up here I'll tell you the two biggest things that we do as tax preparers that have like the biggest impact on your business as far as taxes. It goes to entity selection, so that could be you need to be an S corporation, or maybe it means you stay on Schedule C because it doesn't make sense to become an S corp yet, or maybe you've got multiple people involved, and maybe a partnership is the most streamlined and efficient thing at the moment. Um, but that the entity selection itself has nothing to do with what expenses you have in the business. All right, so it's the entity selection is not about you going out having to spend money. That's why it's so powerful as a tax planning tool, choosing how you're going to be taxed, because you don't have to go out and buy that truck on December 30th or December 31st. Like it's just us filing paperwork and maybe running payroll or doing whatever else needs to happen in order to make that entity selection valid, but it's just paperwork on our end, and you don't have to spend more money out of your pocket on things that maybe you don't need at the moment. Yeah, you'll be paying us to handle the paperwork because we're probably going to save you 10 grand at least, filing that paperwork for you, and 10 grand every year after that as well. But I'm telling you, entity it's not tax planning is not overly complicated. A lot of it is entity selection. The next thing is retirement accounts. All right. Those are the two biggest pieces of advice we give to people. Every other little tax strategy is tiny compared to these two alone. Because with a retirement account, you could be shoving at least $23,000 into a retirement account, and it's still your money. Like that money is not going away. You're just setting aside money for the future, which depending on what your financial goals are and whatever your financial planner is advising you and how you're going to get to your retirement income and whatever, maybe the 401k is a great vehicle for that. And if so, then great, we can put that into your business and you can shove a lot of money into that. Say it reduces your taxes. Yes, it reduces the amount of cash in your business that you can use at the moment. So that's a consideration, the cash flow issue there. That's a huge consideration. But a lot of people seem, get it in their heads that, putting money into retirement's a bad thing, or it's like, I don't know how to run my business if I don't have all that cash. Look, just work with a tax professional. That's the bulk of tax planning right there. Entity selection, retirement accounts. Everything else is minuscule. So you shouldn't even worry about spending your time trying to come up with other tax deductions because they're going to be so tiny anyways. And compared to the two biggest things that basically an accountant can do, or working with your financial advisor setting up a 401k account. Those are the two biggest things, and they're not things you can do on your own anyways. All right. So I hope that was helpful. How to get more help, just to, you can join my free group for contractors. I do have a link for it in the description below. There's free resources and tools for your business. I'm constantly adding to that. You can chat with other contractors and exchange ideas in that group. There's also in there free courses on tax, accounting, insurance, and legal issues for your contracting business. So if you're especially on the tax stuff, if you want to know, you're going to find out in there some of the legal entity structures and how they're taxed, all that kind of stuff. I'm not trying to hide anything here. It's just it can be good to educate yourself on these different topics. Link in the description below and get back to work.